Okay, recap from the weekend. MVPs of the game. On defense, Deontay Johnson was our point leader, 31 production points in 31 plays, about as effective as you could possibly play, I thought, and really good week, and a guy that's having a great year. Bryant Koback on offense, really good job of efficiently running the football and gaining some tough yards in the first half there, especially the second quarter. And then Maxon Hook, who's I think currently our team leader in tackles and is playing on all four kicking units and having a great season to this point in time. So getting some valuable contributions from some key guys in the kicking game, and obviously that's a major boost to your team when you don't have to play a ton of starters on those units, and those guys can come in and do a really good job, and Maxon's certainly leading that charge. So good team win for our team. Handled the trip. Come back, and I think everybody on the trip got into the football game. 12 or 13 guys touched the football on offense. A lot of guys got valuable reps throughout the course of the game. And it only helps you build depth as you move forward into the future of your program. So happy about that. Turn our focus this week to another tough MAC West opponent, Northern Illinois, a program that's been a thorn in our side in years past, and one that we know this game means a ton to. And one that's playing really good right now, aided by a great rushing attack. They got a really good back, and quarterback transfer from Michigan State's done a good job of implementing himself into that culture of the program, and they're getting good offensive line play. So a good offense that we're going to have to limit, and then some really good young talented players on defense that are flying to the football and making plays. So it'll be a tough challenge for us this week. So that said, I'll take your questions.
How nice was it just to get a bunch of guys in there and let them play and get rewarded for all the hard work and practice?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's great for morale for the team, and obviously it's great for those guys' development individually. And Devin got banged up in the first half, and Demir, which was his backup on offense, got banged up. You saw Adam Beal have to go in there and catch punts and play on offense quite a few snaps, and some different guys. DeAndre Reagan started the game because Terrence Taylor was out and Nate Givhan were out. It didn't make the trip, and there's young guys had to go start the game, and then he's backed up by C.J. Wilson, who's playing as a true freshman. So some guys that were going to get time anyways, got time due to some injuries, and then you got a multitude of other guys that got in there because the score became a one-sided game. So yeah, huge for team morale, and like I said, really critically important for their development.
The fact that you're able to get so many guys in a year ago, a limited schedule, are there still guys who are a little bit behind development because you only played a handful of games?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think last year is it's a hard. You don't want to say it doesn't matter, or it doesn't count, or it doesn't, but there's a lot of ways it's a wash, and you do miss some critical moments like that through the development of what guys were able to get in game reps. Now, what I would say about last year, the return to play model preseason of walk through. Introduction to getting guys acclimated to back playing football. I really liked that model. I thought that had a lot of validity moving forward, and a lot of could have caught steam on how to do preseason a little bit, a little better maybe, so to speak, and a little more strategically in favor of the player. But so what I'm trying to say is those guys got valuable practice time, but it's really hard to simulate those reps and game reps like you're talking about.
Offensively, once you kind of looked at what took place, what do you think of the line play? And you mentioned Bryant, but just the amount of guys who got in there and got rushing yards.
Yeah, I mean, I think getting ththose couple young backs in there and getting them meaningful carries, and more than just a couple plays here and there where you put them in and then you pull them back out on third down. I mean, Mike Kelly and Jock Stewart, they got real reps. They got the whole series, and you're asking them to be in pass protection. You're throwing them the ball to the backfield, and you're obviously asking them to run it. So, those guys getting those opportunities, I think, is critical. Some of those young linemen getting in there. Parker Bisick went in and did a good job. Vinny Scurry went in and did a good job. Those guys are. Mike Bergen got meaningful reps. Those guys are going to have to. You're going to need those guys as the season wears on. There's nobody ever talks about injuries, but it's part of football. So as many guys developed as you possibly can is the key. I think the starting unit, to see less communication errors and breakdowns there, I think that's what we're trying to strive for here, and I think we're starting to find our rhythm a little bit in that sense.
Your defense continues to climb up the national rankings, in particular on third down. I mean, what do you think about their ability to just get off the field?
Well, they were really good on third down last year too. I think that was having an abbreviated season, new coaching staff come in, maybe not really have a true base defense last year, maybe more of a scheme job each week, and just trying to figure out who our players were to a certain extent. One thing that was really consistent was third down defense, and that's carried over to this year. When you have guys that can cover and play man coverage, you got guys at the second level of the defense that can cover tight ends and you don't have to sub guys out. And then obviously it's aided by a really good pass rush too. So, that's a sign of a really good defense. That's the name of the game, to get stops and get the other team off the field. And the neat thing is they've done it by that part of it, but they've also done a good job creating turnovers here too. So it's provided more opportunities to get points, and we were able to capitalize on some of those opportunities Saturday to turn a quick turnaround into fast points. So playing great. Got to keep it up.
When you have an opponent like Northern who beat a Power 5 team, Georgia Tech, and then look bad against Michigan, do you look at either of those games specifically, or do you just dismiss both of them because they're both extreme outliers?
Yeah, you got to watch tape. You're going to watch every game. You're going to watch everything that goes on throughout the course of a football game, and how some teams handle different environments and different games. This is, I wouldn't try to find any consistency in that throughout college football. That's going to look different in about every program. So, but I do know this game means a lot to their football program and to the people of DeKalb and everybody that's a graduate of Northern Illinois. So I know we'll get their best shot for sure.
Jason, I know they're celebrating the 50th year anniversary of the 35-game winning streak this weekend. It's always kind of in the background of Toledo history is this great thing. But when you really stop and think about it, just 35 straight wins, just how hard it is to win each week. Is that almost impossible to wrap your mind around?
Yeah, I lived this a little bit. I was part of a team that won 54 in a row, and then we lost one and turned around and won 55 in a row after that. So we lived this to a certain extent, not at this level. But what I would tell you in knowing the guys off of those teams is, and what the parallels and what the comparisons would be, is very connected team. Still, those guys are still very, they're thick as thieves and so close still to this day. Got great quarterback play from obviously one of the best to ever do it in Chuck Ely, and that was a golden era of Toledo football. And even though it may be a little bit different time than today of what it was and what it is, to be able to do that and still to whatever's in front of you, whatever the schedule is, to go run through it, each year, says a lot about their resolve and their ability to stay together, and about the fight, and really that kind of paved the way for decades after of what this program is and the tradition that it has, and how people really care about it. And I think that we owe a lot to those guys. And I think I say this to our team all the time: it's really hard to have a clear picture of where you want to go if you don't know what's come before you. And those guys certainly paved the way. And you just walk around the halls here and look around and see. You feel honored to have your team or your name or your players' names mentioned with those guys' names, because it's a unique time in college football history.
No one's won 35 straight since then. Just given everything you know about the modern landscape, how many good teams and disparity out there, do you think we'll see that again?
Man, I don't know. I think that's really hard to. It's really hard to replicate. Everybody's trying to put a plan together to make it happen each year, obviously, and. But yeah, I don't know if that'll ever be done again, to be honest with you.